to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth.
Representative Sherfilis McCormick has now resigned effective immediately from Congress. Now,
but if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people.
To share that at the end of the month, Sheila McCormick, the Democrat that stole $5 million of FEMA funds, is going to be brought up on a motion to expel. So if she does not resign beforehand, we will expel her. Just prior to that, she said, quote, "For those asking whether I plan to resign, the answer is no."
Another one bites the dust, ladies and gentlemen. Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. This lady stole $5 million in FEMA funds. You know, was supposed to help save people from natural disasters, people who are literally struggling, in some cases starving to death. No food or shelter, clothes, no nothing for men, women, children of all ages. She decided she was going to steal this money and use it to help her win an election, use it for campaign funds. Crazy stuff, guys. Another radical left Democrat exposed. They just took down Swalwell. I just posted a video about Crockett getting her butt whooped by another Democrat, a white man who's Democrat. And now you got Sheila over here getting cooked for fraudulent activity as well. These people are biting the dust, guys. That's like 3 Democrats in a row. But I'm going to go ahead and react to her resignation here. Let's get into this. By the way, guys, there's a new feature on YouTube where you can hype videos. So be sure to like the video, hype the video. It helps out a lot. Appreciate you.
We did want to share with you this breaking news as Representative Sheila Sherfilis McCormick has now announced that she is resigning amid a congressional probe. She shared this statement just now on social media stating, quote, "This was not a fair process. The Ethics Committee refused my new attorney's reasonable request for time to prepare my defense. By going forward with this process, while a criminal indictment is pending, the committee prevented me from defending myself. I will not stand by and pretend that this has been anything other than a witch hunt. I simply cannot stand by and allow my due process rights to be trampled on and my good name to be tarnished. Rather than play these political games, I choose to step away so that I can devote my time to fighting for my neighbors in Florida's 20th district. I hereby resign from the 119th Congress effective immediately." But let me say this plainly. We should be very careful about the precedent we are setting.
Here we go.
In this country, we do not punish people before due process is complete. We do not allow allegations alone to override the will of the people. That is a dangerous path and one that should concern every American, regardless of party. To my constituents, it has been the honor of my life fighting for you in the U.S. House of Representatives. Thank you for standing with me and fighting alongside me. This fight is far from over. So just moments ago, that statement that we have taken there in full, this is from Representative Sheila Sherfilis McCormick.
How much you want to bet that she didn't have any problem whenever there was, because this is a Democrat, how much you want to bet whenever there was a Republican being accused of anything, she didn't have any problems? As a matter of fact, recently she was trying to say that this was a distraction from the Epstein files and that racism was one of the reasons that she was being targeted.
Your thoughts on the indictment, please.
Well, it's an unjust indictment, and it seems like these intimidation tactics have been pervasive. We spent all week seeing different members getting censured, all in hopes of intimidating and kind of distracting from the Epstein files. And I look forward to my day in court so I can prove myself and actually state the truth. But if this is what Congress is becoming, where they're always trying to intimidate you, scare tactics, especially attacking minorities, black and brown people, then we're going to have to keep fighting for the district.
For those of you guys who are unfamiliar with this, I want to react to another video so you can actually see the heinous crime that this person has committed or that they're being accused of, and they're trying to say their due process rights were violated, which is a half-truth, which doesn't surprise me that this person would tell a half-truth because Congress has already found this woman to be guilty of this. Now, she hasn't been criminally indicted, but that's like saying that if you have an employer, right, an employer finds out that, wait, hey, we think you're stealing from the register. Right. So you haven't been criminally charged with stealing from the register, but they got cameras watching you steal from the register. So the employer knows for sure. Like what's in court is just what the court says, and the court takes forever. but you can visibly see somebody on a camera doing something, is reasonable to make a conclusion, right? How many of you guys wait until everything's adjudicated in court before you make a conclusion in life if you can clearly see what's happening? And that's all Congress did, is they just looked at the evidence and said, hey, this looks open and shut to me. Now, in terms of whether or not she's going to go to jail, that's a different conversation, but let's go ahead and get into this.
Quick decision to the rare hearing for Representative Sheila Sherfilis McCormick. The aftermath could have been bigger implications beyond just her personal case. Local 10's Glenna Milberg joins us in the newsroom. And Glenna, what could we see nationally?
Janice, many Republicans have been calling for the Congresswoman's expulsion even before today's decision, which would make one less Democrat in a House where Republicans hold only a 3.
She's trying to act like this is just Republicans, but even AOC said that this lady should probably be expelled.
Can I also ask about Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick?
Yeah,
do you believe that she should be expelled? The Ethics Committee last month found her guilty of over 20 violations.
And I think that this case is an example of how this process should go, right? Serious allegations, some that may even be criminal, it be subject to criminal investigation. We went, instead of just knee-jerking, going to some things, we can't all be part of an investigatory process. It went through an investigatory process. Ethics has found her guilty, and that's the conclusion that we have, and that's going to come to the floor. And I hope that we can all be bipartisan, because this is what our processes are for, to uphold those conclusions that we see by the commission.
So you think that she should be expelled or should resign?
I would agree with that. Yes.
That she should resign,
Yes,
and if she doesn't resign, she should be expelled.
Yes, and if the ethics committee, because my understanding, as you said, the ethics committee found her guilty, then I would vote in concordance with that. Thank you. Sorry, I got to run to vote.
So no, it's not just Republicans.
Vote majority. The Congresswoman has been saying all along that is exactly why the charges were brought against her.
What does exist is a mountain of evidence.
A fiery 6-hour hearing went almost to midnight.
And the allegations before us are extremely serious.
After hours of overnight deliberations behind closed doors, the House Ethics Panel found what it called clear and convincing evidence that Congresswoman Sheila Sherfilis McCormick is guilty of 25 of 27 charges against her. The Congresswoman facing accusations she stole $5 million in FEMA COVID funding, mistakenly paid to her family business, then redirected it into her campaign for Congress in 2021.
More than half of it was paid to the Congresswoman and her friends and family, and of that, the vast majority went into her campaign.
Sherfilis McCormick.
It's just like Ilhan Omar. Oh, it's just an accounting error. No big deal. Just an accounting error, right?
Faces federal criminal charges for those same accusations. She has and does deny it all.
At the very least, you have to give us a hearing. You have to allow me to call witnesses on her defense.
The Congresswoman's attorney arguing the timing of the House hearing leaves her unable to defend herself in the upcoming criminal trial scheduled for next month.
I have my client on the one side of me saying, that's not true. I want to get up and I want to testify and I want to explain something. I have to advise her not to, because I have to protect her Fifth Amendment rights for the criminal case.
The panel rejecting that particular argument, saying that criminal court procedures have built-in protections for that. So next, the full House Ethics Committee meets to decide the consequences, and that can be from a formal reprimand or fines, or of course the most serious, expulsion from the House. And that's after April recess, and most certainly before the midterms. Louis.
Yeah, this could have consequential impacts. All right, thank you, Glenn, for that.
Well, guys, I think it's pretty clear. They didn't go over all 25 of the charges, but it's a lot of charges. Well, it's really 27, but they said they believe she's guilty of 25 of them. And she could have stayed. To me, this is a clear indication of guilt. If she could have tried to stay in Congress and fight it out, and then obviously everybody else would end up looking stupid if they're putting her through all of this stuff and she didn't do anything wrong. But this is what guilty people do. She's trying to save her butt because she knows that her goose is cooked. So she's trying to run away and put herself in a position where she doesn't have to do anything possibly incriminating. No more House committee meetings and speaking under oath. No. She just going to plead the fifth and not say anything until she goes to criminal court. In which case, if what's being alleged here is true, then this woman is going to jail. Okay, like this is not as simple as them trying to indict Letitia James for her mortgage fraud. This is even more serious because you're talking about $5 million worth of federal government funds. And I know I've seen a lot of stuff in my day, but I have not seen anybody get away with a crime like this. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Shout out to my members, patrons, and fellow anomalies, Cyber Noodle, 655, The Great, Bella Scott, Carpentier John, and Pinecone 6. I appreciate you guys every single day.
And she still faces federal charges for allegedly stealing millions of dollars in FEMA money. Now, prior to this, she had resisted calls for her to resign. However, now she has resigned right before she was scheduled to testify.